Russ from OptimismToday.tv, and I'm here today to talk to you about the difference between hope, optimism, and reality. Hope is the vessel that carries our dreams, and reality gives us the circumstances with which we must deal, and those oftentimes can be quite difficult. But optimism gives us the view that we can overcome those circumstances and deal with them effectively and accomplish our goals. Now let me illustrate this today in the work and the speeches of Dr. Martin Luther King. In 1963, Dr. King gave his I Have a Dream speech. It was all about hope. He said, I have a dream that someday all of our children will go to the same schools, black and white, yellow, green, whatever. I have a dream that someday we'll drink from the same water fountains, that we'll walk down the street together hand in hand. And I have a dream, and I have a dream, and I have a dream. And he had all these dreams about equality. But that was 1963. 5 years later, it was all hope because it wasn't happening. You couldn't go to a motel if you were a black person. And if it was a white person hotel, you couldn't check in. They wouldn't let you. You couldn't sit at a diner or a restaurant if they didn't allow blacks, if it wasn't for black people. That was 1963. So it was all about hope. It was not happening. They went to different schools. In 1968, the day before King was assassinated, he gave his Promised Land speech. In that speech, he talked all about optimism. And they had a lot of reality to deal with. It was really tough reality. They had really things to overcome to achieve this equality. But you realize that he was talking about optimism because he said, I have been to the Promised Land and I have seen it, and I may not get there with you, but I know you will get there. Here's how I know you will get there. Because we have marched here, we've marched in Selma, we've marched in Montgomery, we've marched all over the South, all over this country in a peaceful manner for equality and justice. And we've been knocked down by billy clubs, and we got back up. And we've been bitten by dogs and knocked down by dogs, and we got back up. And we've been put in jail, and we got back out, and we got back up. And we've been hosed down by fire hoses, and we got out, and we got back up. And we've marched, and we've overcome for equality. So I know, because we have done these things, we have overcome these difficulties. He didn't use the word optimism. But because we have had the optimism and the view that we can overcome these difficulties, and I have seen that, that's really the underlying message. I know we will get to the Promised Land. And so that is what we mean by optimism. It's not smile, be happy. It's about a hard fight and a belief that you can overcome. And they did that, and they overcame, and we can see that today. Because when I was sitting there in 1968, and I saw in that spring the hard reality of Dr. King's assassination and the harsh reality of Bobby Kennedy's assassination, I lost a lot of hope and optimism. Now it came back, but today we have a black president. And maybe King thought we would have that, but I certainly did in 1968. But his optimism kept the move going. So when you think about hope and optimism and reality, make that distinction. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you.